Mac, drop the deck, disconnect from the corporate slop. It's time.
Nishquick, I told you, I'm not playing Mario Kart just because I have a Switch 2 now.
Mario Kart? Please, I'm talking about real art here. The pinnacle of human achievement. 1994, Mac. 1994. Look at this.
Get that shit out of my face. I'm not playing a game where the main mechanic is getting stuck in a wall and bombing every single individual tile to find one extra missile expansion.
Oh, so you need a map marker telling you where to go just like a toddler, huh? You need to feel isolated in Planet Zebes.
I wish I was isolated right now.
Think about the intro, Mac. The eerie title screen music. The abandoned space station. There's even a purple space pirate dragon.
Nishquick, it's just a SNES game. The dragon looks like Ridley Scott designed Barney.
But the music. You've heard the Brinstar theme, right? And that's just the upbeat version. There's also one where you go down into the depths and it goes it just makes you want to explore. It makes you want to speedrun. Have you ever done a bomb jump before? Have you ever sequence break this whole game? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Have you even wall jumped up a shaft you didn't even know you were allowed to do or even supposed to do in the game? Just break out of your matrix and experience this game.
I like games that tell me a story with, dialogue, voice acting, characters who aren't silent bounty hunters in orange scuba gear.
Oh, Samus Aran is an icon. Her silence is strength. Look, she's like that one chick from Alien. Look at this. Look at this aura. This is what you're missing out on. Oh, also, the environmental design is a masterclass in game design. This game birthed an entire genre. What do you think the Metroid and Metroidvania is? And you love Metroidvanias, right? Metroid is half of the genre's title. You're living a lie.
If I play it, will you leave me alone and never mention the words Metroid or Tetsuya Takahashi again and stop sending me those weird photos of Princess Peach?
Now, don't use a guide, and if you get stuck in the power tube in Meridia, just remember that you should have power bombs by then. I'm just saying. Also, the wall jump thing I said is very precise. You'll have to press away from the wall, then jump back and forth, and don't mess it up or you're gonna ruin the pacing and you're just gonna throw.
Thanks to Nishquick for that intro. He is the absolute king of Xenoblade content creation, as well as many things Nintendo and JRPG related. So, if any of that sounds good, give him a watch. Super Metroid is the brainchild of a certain Yoshio Sakamoto, who previously worked on the original Metroid and the Famicom Detective Club series as a designer. But for this new generation of Metroid, he was put in the director's seat. What he had to make was a game that truly evolved the series from the previous two entries, and what he ended up making defined actual generations of gaming. So what is Super Metroid? Well, it's a lot of things. It's a platformer, it's an action game, it's a shooter, it's an adventure game focused on exploration, and it even delves into light horror aspects with heavy inspiration from Ridley Scott's Alien. That's why the purple space dragon is called Ridley, by the way. I have to give a shout out to the beginning of this game, by the way, because it's just a masterclass in how to start a game. First, you get some backstory and lore about the Metroids and Samus. Then you check out the space laboratory and find it completely abandoned with the dead scientists on the floor. And then you go into the next room it gets dead silent, and you see the baby Metroid. You go up to it, and holy fucking shit, it's Ridley. And the space station is exploding, and everything is getting crazy, and then you track down the Metroid to the planet Zebes from the first game, but it's quiet, too quiet. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife, and it's honestly pretty creepy. You get some upgrades, you get a feel for the game, then holy shit, Mother Brain's old room is filled with space pirates. From here on out, the game is hostile, and every room will probably be trying to kill you in some way. Super Metroid focuses on two aspects: atmosphere and exploration. Every area in the game has a sound design and aesthetic that makes you feel a certain way. Always unsafe, always uneasy, but in innovative and just cool ways. My favorite was probably the abandoned ship. It's so desolate at first, with all the advanced tech on the ship no longer being operational and ghostly apparitions haunting you. Only after fighting the boss is the ship on again, and that gives you access to new areas. Super Metroid is about as rewarding as a game can be with its exploration. It'll have you schizophrenically bombing every wall or morph balling through corridors, just see if there's something there. And the craziest part is that most of the time, there is. To create a map this large while never once lacking in atmosphere or content is the true accomplishment of Super Metroid. However, I do have issues that arise from this as well. First off, a lot of upgrades are straight up mandatory to finish the game. These upgrades are sometimes just hidden behind a boss, but a good amount of the time they're in some corner of the map. If you're thorough, you'll find them, but when you miss one and go all across the map, just realize you have to go back across the map because you forgot something. It's not a great feeling, especially since there's zero fast travel in this game. Now, I will say that a lot of upgrades makes backtracking feel better, which I like, and by backtracking you'll find more secrets that you missed the first time or didn't have the upgrade for. I get the intent of the design, but I still didn't like it. If there was just a simple teleport between save rooms or something, it would make the experience so much cleaner. The thing that probably upset me the most in this game, other than something at the end I'll talk about, was that a lot of the optional upgrades are not actually as optional as they seem. Mainly the super missile upgrades. Now, you don't need a ton of super missiles to beat bosses. Regular missiles do damage, and charge shots do some damage, I guess, as well. But the damage gap is pretty insane, with super missiles dealing 5 times the amount of a normal missile. There were multiple boss encounters that just ended up being extremely hard, not because the boss was like crazy or anything, but because I didn't have all the super missile upgrades and had my damage reduced massively. That sucks because a lot of these bosses are pretty cool. Okay, spoiler warning for the ending of the game. This game isn't exactly story heavy, but if you want to experience it yourself, skip to the time on the screen. You good? Okay, the ending to this game is kind of insane. You beat all the mandatory bosses and get to where Mother Brain now resides. You redo the fight from the first Metroid and defeat her using a ton of super missiles in the process, and then you have to fight her in a powered up form. Now, due to the amount of super missiles from the first form takes, it was actually pretty difficult to defeat the second phase, and I went a few tries with her. Then I got an awesome run, and I'm almost dead, but I'm doing a lot of damage. I get the last shot off, and then I get completely blasted by an unavoidable beam that instantly kills me. So, what did I do wrong? Well, nothing. The game just requires you to have at least 3 bars of health at the end of the fight, or you lose. Now that's some cheap-ass bullshit. Mother Lame over here cheating. But whatever, I did it with 3 bars of health and I won. I like the ending with the baby Metroid. It used to be a baby, at least. Now it's a very big Metroid. It recognizes Samus as its mama, and then it sacrifices itself to drain Mother Brain of her power and to charge up Samus so you can use the all-powerful Gay Beam to destroy the abomination once and for all. Super Metroid was overall a good time. This is a good game, but I can't help but think it's been vastly surpassed since its released. Igavania games and indie Metroids like Hollow Knight and Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth. By the way, play that fucking game. It's literally the best Metroidvania ever, and it made me cry like a baby at the end. Have surpassed this formula greatly. Don't get me wrong, I respect Super Metroid for coming first and establishing the formula for future games to build on, but I think if you are hankering for a game in this style, You just have better options. Anyways, next time we have an epic turn-based Wild West sci-fi adventure. That's right, it's Wild Arms. See you then.